Hello. Happy New Year. Happy 2024. How exciting. Today I'm going to be discussing all of my very favorite books from 2023. Now, 2023 was such a weird reading year for me. It was very up and down, I'd say. How many books did I end up reading? 81. I think my grand total was 81, which is great. Amazing. Looking back, it really was not that bad. I had a good reading year. It was great. Awesome. I feel like I was in so many reading slumps. I didn't want to read, but I read 81 books. And at the end of it, I have a nice little list of my favorites. I read some really, really good 5-star reads. Not as many as previous years, but still a good amount. I have 8 best of best books, and then I have 6 honorable mentions, which are books that were 4.5, 5 stars that maybe just weren't as impactful and fun and amazing as the other books on this list. Like I said, I'm gonna start off just rapid fire going through some honorable mentions. First of all, The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. This was I think the second book I read in 2023, and it was just so good. Such a good thriller. It had good plot twists. It was fast paced. It was extremely entertaining. Also, Freida McFadden, this was the first book I read by her, and she ended up being my most read author of last year, which is wild. I just reorganized my bookshelf and now I don't know where anything is, so this is great. Mine Would Be You by Kay Jamila. This was just super sweet and wholesome, and I just had such a good time reading it. In a Jam by Kate Canterbury. Impeccable small town vibes. Marriage of Convenience. Jam. This was also really fun because some of my friends were reading this around the same time, and I just remember having so much fun discussing it and reading it with other people. My only problem is that it was just a little too long, but so fun. The Right Move by Liz Tomford. I love these characters so much, and this was almost a 5-star, but the main character has the same name as my brother, and I just could not get over it. It was just a little too weird for me. I know it's a dumb reason to knock down points, but just a personal thing. Otherwise, great book. Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. So cute. Opposites Attract. Hot Bodyguard. Small Town was just so fun. So cute. And then my last honorable mention is The Co-op by Tara DeWitt. Again, just a fun book. Another Marriage of Convenience book that I just loved so much. Alright, now we are on to the best of the best. My top favorite books. I'm going to talk about these just in the order that I read them. I don't know if I could actually rank them. That would just be too difficult. I could do it, but I don't want to, so I'm not going to. Starting off with If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. This is a young adult book. It was pretty popular in the beginning of the year / last year. Kind of known for being very sad, and yes, it was very sad. But the reason why I love this book isn't because the ending tore me apart. I don't know, it wasn't really anything like that. I just love this book because I love the writing. I loved just the kind of monotonous feel to it, which sounds weird, but it just felt so nostalgic to me and really reminded me of books that I used to read, which makes sense because this is actually an old book. I think it originally came out 2013, and it makes perfect sense. It feels like a very 2013 book, which I really loved. I don't know, in the end, it really just follows this high school girl. Her name is Autumn, and it just shows her life through high school and friendships and relationships and all these things. I don't know, I just loved reading it. I loved the feelings it gave me. The end was very sad, yes, but I don't know, I just really love this book, and it's kind of a weird one to explain why, but it's just that feeling I got, you know? And I read this in February, I believe, which feels so long ago. Alright, fast forward to May, which is when I read Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. Again, this is one that is, I feel kind of, not weird, but a lot of people didn't really vibe with this book. I know that it was just kind of average for a lot of people. This is one that is a past and present timeline, but the past all takes place in one day, so it's very quick. The characters meet, they spend a day together, something happens, they don't speak for a long time, and then they reunite, and it's one of those books that already just has a formula for something that I like. I love books with these kinds of plots. I don't know why, I just I love it. It's Carly Fortune. So again, it's very summery, fun, but also emotional. It deals with grief. I just like had such a good time reading this. I read it so quickly. Something about Carly Fortune. Her books are just perfect for me. Loved it. And then I think immediately after that book, I read Happy Place by Emily Henry, which of course was her big new release of last year. And I absolutely loved it. Once again, I just love Emily Henry's writing. I love her stories. I love that they're romance, but they're also more than that. Like, they touch on other topics. And this one was no different. Liked the romance, don't get me wrong. It was a little bit of like a fake dating type of situation, which is great. But I don't know, something about this book had a lot of themes that I could just like relate to in different ways. I don't know, it just hit. It hit at the right time. And of course, we still got that like Emily Henry summery fun sprinkled in. I really like the friend group, all the characters. And this cover is also beautiful. So bonus points. And once again, something about a second chance romance always just does it for me every time. And this was no exception. It was so good. Next one I wrote down in my notebook as just Ari and Dante #2 because this book has like the longest title ever. But it is Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World, which is the direct sequel to Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, a book that is very near and dear to me. I love it so much. It means so much, and I didn't read the sequel until literally this last year. And honestly, I don't really have much to say about this. I think it's really just an excuse to be with these characters more, and I just really loved it. I thought it was a great sequel. It takes place basically directly after the first one, and honestly, it's kind of the same. Like, they're still the same characters of dealing with similar but different issues. It was just like coming of age, teenage goodness, and I love it, and I love these characters so much. It was great. Amazing sequel. So glad I finally got to it. And then these last ones I literally just talked about in my last wrap up, so you already know, but I'm gonna talk about them again anyway. Starting with Out on a Limb. This was a book that really surprised me. Pregnancy trope, but done so well. And the characters were just so perfect. They were so perfect. I loved them so much. I loved their relationship progression. How it like started off as a one-night stand. They were never gonna see each other again. She finds out she's pregnant and he just takes it so well. Beau is literally perfect. He's so perfect. I loved him so much. And I of course love Win as well. And I love them together, and it was so sweet. It was so sweet. It's one of those books that kind of just like makes your heart melt. Like, this is just a truly great romance. And if you have not picked this up yet, please do. Although I think it's getting republished, so it might not be available at this current moment, but as soon as it comes out again, read it. I just literally feel so giddy and smiley whenever I think about them. Next up on my list is of course Already Falling, another one I've talked about a bunch. Again, this is one where I just felt so connected to these characters. I could relate to different parts of each of them. I love Annika and Reed as the main characters. I love seeing their relationship develop when they were kids to college and then to after college. And I also love Annika's best friend, Chloe. The friendship is probably my favorite thing in this book. I just love all of them. And then all just like the great friend group shenanigans that go down. It just made me so happy. And it truly felt like these characters were my friends. I just felt so connected to them in that way, and I love it so much. And then of course we have Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. Again, this is one of those books that whenever I see it, whenever I think about it, I can't help but just smile. Like, it just is one of those books that makes me so happy because it was just so fun and I had such a good time reading it. Small town, cowboy, it was just everything. Luke and Emmy were everything. I love their relationship so much. Everybody loves to talk about the whiskey scene. It truly truly lives in my head. It just does. I always think about it. It was iconic, okay? It is more on like the lighthearted side, but there are also some deeper topics sprinkled in. I truly have zero complaints, not a thing I would change. And this is a book I will definitely reread. And I'm also so excited for the next book in the series, and then the book after that, and then the book after that. I'm pretty sure that she is locked in for 4 books, which is huge. Cannot wait. And then we have the last book, and that is none other than Caught Up by Liz Tomforde, who is one of my new favorite authors. I have loved all 3 of her books, and I genuinely cannot wait for the next 2. I think about it all the time, and I just can't wait. But anyway, Caught Up. This is book 3 in the Windy City series, and it was just perfect. Kai is a professional athlete, and Miller is like this high-end pastry chef. She's also the coach's daughter, and she also ends up becoming the nanny for his son for the summer. So it's a single dad, which really just did something for me. I don't know. Once again, Kai was just so sweet. They kind of got off on the wrong foot, but you knew from the beginning that there was something there. There was something there. I just loved to see their relationship play out. I don't know, great characters. I loved the kid in this book because he was like 2 years old, so he couldn't talk. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I just hate when kids in books are like written to be so wise and intelligent about adult relationships. Like, what do you mean? You don't know anything about this, but this was great. I loved it, and it was absolutely a standout of the year. One of my favorites. That was really quick. I feel like I really didn't talk about those too much, but that is because obviously I've talked about them before, some of them multiple times. These are my favorites of the year. I'm so happy with this little stack. It's not as large and in charge as some of my previous year's favorites, but this is just like a solid stack of books, and I just love them so much, every single one of them, and I'm so excited to read more this year. How fun. A whole year of possibilities, new favorite books to find. But anyway, that's kind of all I have to say. So, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Happy New Year. See ya!